as you're playing a male vampire, obviously you must have an instant fan following. Have you discovered that? Has there been someone step up to you and said, we want to do a fan club? Just instant recognition. Has that happened?
Well, nobody's come up to me on the street and said, can I start a fan club? So that hasn't happened. But there has been interest in starting a fan club. So, it's happened a couple of times that people have come up and said, are you the new vampire on Forever Night? And they just, you know, want to say hi and see if you are and tell you, ask you if you know who you are and that kind of thing. But with regard to fan club, there is interest. I suppose there's a fan club pending, so we're trying to, we are deciding whether to do that through Forever Night or through my agency, or, and what the best way to organize that is, really.
So this is something that you're not going to leap into. You're not going to say to the first person who says to you, oh, I want to do a fan club for you. You are going to do some of the controlling of this?
Well, I don't know. I don't feel, I would rather not be controlling it, really. I think that, I think it's an opportunity for people to do something that would be interesting and create a source for people to go to in terms of, you know, to write to and to get whatever you'd call it, memorabilia and that kind of thing.
Is that in itself flattering, though, that people are interested enough in you that they want a source of information about you specifically?
In terms of a fan club? Or just anything?
Well, in terms of just looking at it from a satisfaction point of view, that people are interested enough, whether it's in your work or your musical ability or whatever, that they want an organized fan club so there's some place for them to go to express their interest and appreciation. Is that, it must be a pleasant thing.
Yeah, what interests me and what gives me more pleasure than anything else in terms of when I hear some kind of feedback is when it's with regard to the work that I've done, and that it's appreciating beyond the image, appreciating what's behind the character and the work itself.
There's so much, though, that the fans get tied up in face and form, and obviously you're a good-looking young guy and eyes, beautiful eyes. So there's going to be a lot of fans who may overlook the hard work that you do just to catch the face and form. Is there anything, if you could talk to them one-on-one, is there anything you would say to them to say, please appreciate me beyond what I look like?
Would I say that? Or would I say something and...
What would you say?
What would I say? What I would say is that television is a difficult medium because you're not given a lot of time. I've worked in theater mostly. Mm-hmm. And as I've worked in theater over the years, I have found that my process has slowed down. I work slower. I work slower than I used to. And in other words, the time that it takes me to develop a character and to understand relationships and circumstances and so forth, and to I don't know how to put this, how to incorporate it inside yourself.
Absorb it.
Yeah. And the time that you have to do that in a play, in a play situation, in a theater situation, you go in at 10 o'clock and you work until 6 o'clock. In television, you know, you go in at, say, 12 and you work till 12, but you're not actually working all that time.
Right.
So there's also that you don't have rehearsal time. So
run-throughs are more like it, right?
Yeah, you have a run-through, and it's usually it's very much a technical run-through, you know, and you have to be aware of things like lighting and physicality, because you can't be in the wrong place for the camera and all that kind of thing. So it's as much a rehearsal just for the physical, technical aspect of it, or more so that than for what's going on in the scene. Exactly. So, so you have to do all that work on your own, and then try to be free for anything that hopefully could happen when you shoot it on the day.
I have to go.
This isn't making sense.
Doesn't have to.
How will I find you?
It's too dangerous. Don't try. I'll come to you, all right?
Vachon.
Thanks for the shower.
Did I grow something for that character? I think I've been growing something for that character for the past
Ongoing process.
7 years. I mean, in the sense that I've spent a lot of time in Europe. I've lived in Europe, and I think that that helps to have a sense of history.
Yes.
And having seen a lot of things and spent time in a lot of different places in Europe. I think that certainly, it gives you consciously or unconsciously, a sensibility which can help, or a confidence in being, or the idea of being, a person who's 481 years old.
And yet something that's entertaining is that the other vampires in the show, the other main characters, are so much older that your vampire character is practically a, young lad in short pants. Do you find that when you were...
Lederhosen.
Lederhosen. That on a chilly night.
In northern Toronto, or Ontario, yeah.
That's right. So do you find that when you're playing against, like, senior vampires, whether it's conscious or not, you're feeling very much the young cub?
Well, the young cub. Sure, there's a bit of that, but I mean, everybody, Nigel Bennett and Geraint Davies and everybody that is a vampire that's been here before. Well, I guess there's nobody else really I work with, but they're very easygoing, welcoming people. So, in that sense, see, the thing is, my character, Vachon doesn't really give these guys all that much thought. I mean, unless his life is in danger, like in the first episode, when he has to sort of smarten up, right?
So actually, that's very useful, because I mean, who does youth concern themselves with more than themselves?
Absolutely. So he is, yeah, he's an egoist. He's an egotist as well. I mean, not in the worst sense, but he's he's
still time
concerned
for me.
With, yeah.
Is it a fair statement to say that you are not an unpopular man with your fans?
No, I don't think I'm unpopular with my fans. That machine's going to be unpopular in a minute over there. No, I think that, yeah, I don't know. I think they like me for some reason. I don't know. They like the character, certainly.
You spend a generous amount of time at conventions involved in fan activities. I have to ask you, honestly, is any of your popularity a result of conscious image manipulation?
No, I don't have a press secretary or anything like that. I just go along and enjoy myself. I think I sort of owe it to the fans to go along and do those things. We owe them a lot in terms of the success of the show. Sorry, I keep touching her foot.
It's a beautiful little foot.
It's a wonderful moment for us both. We owe the fans a lot in terms of the continued success of the show, and it's one of the ways that I have of being able to say thank you.
Would you like to lay to rest that scurrilous rumor that says that you attend a convention every time your T-shirt wardrobe gets tatty?
Yes, I would lay that to rest if I... Yes. Although I do have lots of nice new T-shirts, I have to admit it.
When you reflect on your popularity, do you find that it's an odd situation that there are persons that you will never meet and never know who are completely involved with you, and that they respect your talent, they enjoy your humor, they're probably madly infatuated with your blue eyes, yet you will never know these people, and yet you are a huge part of their life?
It's very strange. It's very flattering as well that people would take someone so much to heart, someone that they really don't know personally. It's a great compliment. It's a great compliment to me and to the work that I do.
Like the changes? Sex is back. We have a strip on Friday night.
Where's Jeanette?
I broadcast from a little booth in the back. It's really quite convenient.
Where LaCroix?
Really does pay to keep in touch, Nicholas. Must be at least a month. I don't know. She wanted it that way. She thought it would be easier to leave without saying goodbye.
She's gone?
It was her time. She'd been here 20 years. Said it was getting stagnant. Been there, done that. Sold me the club for a song.
Is it a little disorienting to think that whole chunks of your life are out there in fan magazines, on the internet, and people will come to you and recite verse and chapter of your life, and yet you can in no way reciprocate?
I don't mind so long as it's accurate. It's when it's not accurate, and I hear people say, oh, you know what you were doing last week? No. That's when it starts to get a bit strange.
And there's obviously a downside to celebrity popularity, but the upside, the rewards, they must be special. And is there anything in your mind that is really particularly nice in the way of friends you've met, things you've done by your fans?
Oh yeah, I've seen cities in the U.S. I've met people. I've met so many people, thousands of people across the United States and Canada as well. And there are people in places that I would never have seen were it not for this. So I'm very grateful for it. Very grateful indeed.
Do you feel the same way about LaCroix? Like he's a miserable old guy lurking there in the shadows, but he must he must be a fairly good friend of yours.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. I'm grateful for the chance to do him.
Does doing him put you in the limelight as far as other directors or producers that think we've got to get that vampire guy to do this part?
Well, yes and no. It certainly does in terms of it puts you in the eye of other directors, other actors, other producers. But it has its downside in that although you're in the public eye, you're actually already doing the show, so you can't do a lot of other work. So that's the downside, certainly.
And something that's happening in the arena of celebrity, especially sports celebrities, is they're saying that their fans should only expect from them the performance, that they shouldn't have to be role models. Is that your feeling as well, or do you think there should be a bit more put into it?
I think certainly I'm in a slightly different situation in that the work that I do is not really aimed at children in any way. I don't let my kids watch the show. I don't think it's right for them to watch. But if you're working in an area that children really do take great interest in and identify with, then yeah, I think whether you like it or not, you're a role model for certain children, and you owe it to them and to yourself to behave in a certain way.
And finally, we just wanted to reiterate about the wonderful fans you have. I've been fortunate enough to meet some of them, and they're remarkable and talented people.
They are, yeah.
That must have been something for you to meet these people who are...
It's amazing. People who work hard at their regular 9-to-5 jobs, they're very intelligent, they're very committed to us and to the show, and they give freely of their time and money and talent. Some of the work that is done, the artwork and writing and sculpture is fabulous. It's just fabulous work. And I count myself privileged to have met these people and to be part of their lives.
Back to this cage today.
And my people cry out for revenge.